triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Battle for freedom. Hello everyone, this is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo5 Radio. Glad that you can join me today as we are one day away from Halloween. It's the All Hallows Eve when everybody goes out crazy. And, it's Happy Black Friday, pun intended. Happy Black Friday. Yes, we're a month early, but understand it's a pretty dark day. It's a pretty dark time, and there's many things we'll be covering on. My website, Battle4Freedom.com. I want you to do me a favor, go there, share me out as many as possible. Curtis Ray, he scared me because he said boo on the timeline. He went to Facebook.com/Mojo5 Radio and left comments. Good morning, Lisa. Thank you for joining. As we sit here talking about the creeps come out at light, this is going to be very interesting as we get into the topics for today. Again, my website, Battle4Freedom.com. I also want you to do me a favor. I want you to go to Mojo50.com, Mojo50.com, and share it out with as many people as you possibly can. This is one of the things that as we continue to watch the terror and watch everything that's taking place in the news around the world and everything like that, people get concerned. And so, mind you, as terror attacks have been taking place, as we hear, successes of this presidency, in terms of, Andrew Coppins and I had the honor and privilege of hosting Rants of Izzo last night. And we covered a wide gamut of things yesterday. And so if you get a chance, check it out. Good morning, Carolyn, Mitchell, as well as Linda. Thank you for joining here. As we talk about just Black Friday and creeps come out at light, I don't know how many of you are aware of American Pride Roasters coffee. That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo5 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today, AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. And you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel Blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo5 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation, American Pride Roasters. So good morning, everyone. Also, we have Raquel Lee, part of the group, a.k.a. Rocky, a.k.a. the attendant in room 13. Again, this is your last chance to vote on the programs that are available. Mojo50.com/open mic. Give a vote, give a shout out, and see which one wins the day. And going to be very interesting to see the awards and hear how that comes out. Raquel says she's drinking the Madison today. That's one of the many flavors available. You have Izzo's Rage. You have Ron's Sexual Chocolate. There's so many different versions out there that you can go to, but you have to go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com right now. So many of you, I don't know how many of you are aware of, there was an attack yesterday, unfortunately, in France, in Nice, where there was a terrorist who decided he wanted to do terroristic things. A Tunisian migrant Islamist terrorist, 21, who beheaded a woman and killed 2 more Catholics in Nice church rampage after Al-Qaeda press release call for jihad over Hebdo cartoons. So, unfortunately, we have this person whose name is Brahim Al-Sawi, who attacked worshippers with a 12-inch blade in the Notre Dame Basilica in Nice, in Nice. The Tunisian migrant beheaded 1 woman and killed 2 other people during the bloody church rampage. He shouted Allahu Akbar during the attack and was shot 14 times by armed police before he was taken to a hospital. Now, this is very interesting as you sit here and you hear about this thing. He was shot 14 times. Now, we're told that only 1 shot should be sufficient. But this man was shot 14 times and he's still alive. So as you sit here watching these things, I would probably say that the people of there's a problem. Yeah, never mind. I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to leave that alone. France basically says that they are not going to tolerate the terrorism that's going on. I think that's a bunch of malarkey. But before I get into that, let me show you the pictures of some of the victims. Simon Barreto Silva and Vincent Locke. These are the people who died. Two of the three people who died yesterday during this attack. If I'm correct, Simone Barreto Silva she is Brazilian born, and I believe Vincent Locke is a native Frenchman who lost his life yesterday. Now, the reason why I call malarkey on this is because, folks, this isn't the only attack in France. France has been under attack by Islamic terrorists for a long time, 4 years. They're not trying to hide it. They are not trying to hide it. There has been, what was it? How many different? What was it for the long time? Je suis Charlie. Je suis Charlie. And for some strange reason, we think in 2020 things are going to quiet down. We think that not having borders. Speaking of not having borders, you have a U.S. Customs individual, a U.S. Customs account that was shut down because of the fact that they said that the president's wall was keeping out murderers, rapists, and terrorists. Twitter suspends his account. Twitter suspends the account of someone who clearly talks about the reality of having a decent border. If Twitter is not the devil, if Jack Dorsey and his crew are not the devil, I don't know who is. Social media right now, you want to know what the mark of the beast is? One of the marks of the beast is the pride and the evil and the silencing of the truth. When we sit here and we look at Twitter, we look at Google, we look at YouTube, we look at Facebook, they are shutting down any revelation of the truth. That is part of the mark of the beast. To sit here and reject the clear truth that's out there of the evils that plague our world and would do us harm as much as possible. Good morning, Jen and Curtis. Thank you for joining. This is very sad, and this is because here's the crazy part about it. And so, what do you think they're doing? Because you actually have jihadists who are celebrating the terror attack in Nice, France, and they're basically saying as Al Qaeda and ISIS supporters are calling for more attacks on France in sickening online propaganda. They're not trying to hide it. Hello? That peaceful religion you're talking about? Yeah. Very peaceful indeed. They're just loving. They're heads over heels on celebrating their peace. Pun disgustingly intended. To sit here and watch the level of terror. They're not hiding this. Attacks during the day. It's broad daylight. You have attacks in France. You have attacks in Sweden. You have attacks in England. You have attacks in Europe where they have this kumbaya, open my legs approach to anyone coming into the country. And when you continue to practice whoredom, the worst comes out. So we will deal with those. And then get this. We have a presidential candidate who's saying that we should be more embracing of this ideology. We must be more embracing being a Catholic. Amy Coney Barrett being a Catholic. Oh, it's a threat to our nation. Joe Biden basically saying we need to be more aggressive in teaching the teachings of Islam in schools. Very interesting. They're not hiding it anymore, but people are still wanting to vote for him and the likes of the Democrat Party, regardless of the truth. They're not hiding their plans to destroy America anymore. And many of you decide that you want to continue to vote for them. That's your choice. What was it? One of my good friends. I don't have it set up in a nice quote for you on here, but Yug strikes again. Yug strikes again with a beautiful post this morning. He says, a vote cast in ignorance, sadly most are, is worse than not voting. I want to repeat that for you. A vote cast in ignorance, sadly most are, that was in parentheses, is worse than not voting. Thank you, Yug. Much appreciated for simplifying probably one of the most obvious things out there, but unfortunately, most people are lacking the discernment to recognize the dangers of who they vote for. But the jihadists, they're not hiding it. They're celebrating it. But this gets worse, folks. This gets worse. Get this. Muslims have the right, check this out. Muslims have the right to kill millions of French people. Malaysia's former prime minister says after church terror attack in Nice. You know, and this is amazing because Malaysia's ex-prime minister Mahathir Mohamad launched an extraordinary outburst after the attack in Nice. The 95-year-old politician said in a now removed tweet, Muslims have a right to kill millions of French people. He said freedom of speech does not include insulting other people amid row over cartoons of the prophet. As you sit here and you watch this, but folks, it gets worse. It gets worse. But wait, like 2020, there's more. So I decided to do this because the Daily Mojo, who comes on 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, Eastern Standard Time, they start talking about the idea of data that's missing. Again, last night I'll talk about one of the things I thought was very powerful in terms of YouTube searches and things like that. So I decided to go to CNN. And I was like, you know what? Let's see what CNN has to say about this attack. So I went to CNN's site and I decided that I was going to Google various terms just to see where did CNN stand or stack on this issue. And so, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this and I searched terror, I searched knife, I searched stabbed, I searched even jihad, and each result on CNN's web page returned with zero information on their page. Okay? Zero information on their page. But when you go to CNN's website, what do you see? Everything talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he mocks Biden and COVID-19, but zero on the attack in Nice. Huh. This is supposed to be up and coming news. This is supposed to be things that are relevant. Nothing on the site. And so when Yug says a vote in ignorance, he hit the nail on the head because of the fact that many people have made decisions. They have made not just decisions. Many people have decided that they're going to stand and die on the sword of the narrative that Donald Trump is a racist. He must go. He must die. I don't want to hear anything else. We have Hollywood actors who have pictures of, they have literally holding severed bloody heads that only mimic and are only it's an epic and disastrous representation of the President of the United States of America. We have Hollywood actors, we have rappers who are turning around and they're basically threatening and wanting the death of the president. But nothing. That we heard from 2015, 2016, love trumps hate. The creeps come out at light has been going on for the last 4 years. The creeps come out at light because of the fact that many of you evil, wicked individuals, go do it yourself. Go, if you don't believe me, go to go to CNN and do the searches yourself and try and see if you can find anything about this terror attack. But I'm certain you'll find something. I'm certain you'll find something about Donald Trump or COVID-19. Oh, Lord Jesus, please help us. This is going to be very destructive to the nature and growth and health of our nation if the people who basically continue to be silent against the real terrors, as the people continue to be complacent and compliant to the dictates of I don't want to lose my social media. Okay, I'm spoiler alert. I'm sorry if those of you who haven't watched The Boys on Netflix, not Netflix, on Amazon. My wife and I, we finished season 2 last week, and it's very interesting. The decisions that people will make is very interesting. The decisions that people will make for popularity. It's very sad. It's very sad that nothing of this is going to improve. And I'm broken on this. People, I'm praying that we turn this thing around because of the fact that if we don't speak up, if we remain silent on what's going on here, there's going to be a lot of lives that are going to be devastated. And they're going to need some help. They're going to need some counseling. Check this out.
Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle4Freedom has sent you. One more thing. Give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic.
New Life Holistic. Oh my goodness, folks. This is only going to be worse. And I don't think it's going to get any better if we don't start speaking up, and we need to. We are a day away from everybody. A lot of people are ruined because of the fact that they can't go out. They cannot go out and basically celebrate. They can't celebrate the idea of, trick-or-treating or whatever, and I'm sitting here thinking like, folks, we don't have time for trick-or-treating. We don't have time for this because of the fact that there is a clear, ever-present threat to our nation, to our security in every way you imagine, and they're called the Democrat Party. Make no mistake about this. I do the best that I can to try and just give you both sides try and find the good in the left, good in the right, and try and stay somewhere in the middle. But clearly, we've been watching for the last 4 years. Again, I did not vote for this president. I did not vote for Trump in 2016. I watched and I had my cares, I had my concerns. I still have my cares and concerns about what Donald Trump does or says. And I love how yesterday when I shared with you about even his wife says, I don't always agree with what my husband says or the way he says it, more so than not agreeing with what he says. But as you sit here and you watch this thing unfold, there's no mistake to this. My decision to want to vote for Trump comes because of the fact that I sat there for the last 3.5 years and watched the media and the world. I've watched the institutionalized politicians. I've watched the status quo people all attack a man who walked away from billions of dollars to make nothing while serving you. You know what? When I sit here and I watch the daily attacks, does he bring some things on himself? Most definitely. But I would probably attribute less than 20% of the affliction that Donald Trump endures as being self-induced. It'd probably even go down to 10% of the afflictions and the pains that he experienced as being self-induced. Folks, this is not good. This is not good at all. And y'all can continue to remain as quiet as you want, but we're watching this thing. They're not hiding it. I say Black Friday, and it's not because of the color of my skin or the color of 13% of the population in America, but because of the fact that we're at a very dark moment. We're at a very dark time. Yesterday, when Andrew and I were on the Rants of Izzo, we were talking about the whole idea of yesterday wanting to look into how CNN covers the idea of this witness against the Biden's laptop, and just the bias. Where I just went to Google. I went to Google and I just basically typed in yesterday. I typed in, what was it? Good morning, Chris. Thanks for being part of the program. And Tyler and Chris, Christopher as well, and Brian, thank you so much. When I watched this and I actually did a Google against, I said, it was Donald Trump Jr. Meeting Russians, CNN.com. It was 1.5 pages of results from CNN. And then I decided to actually Google Hunter Biden laptop, CNN.com, 2 entries. But it was worse because Andrew Coppin said, and he comes on 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And Andrew said, it's even crazier. Go to CNN.com and search inside of CNN's webpage, look for Hunter Biden laptop. There were 5 results for that. We Googled Donald Trump Jr. Russians or Russian collusion. There were 817 results on CNN's website. And then when you wanted to look up this witness that's against Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, who has critical evidence of corruption at its highest level possible in the history of our nation, right in front of you, a presidential candidate who was the vice president of the previous administration that authorized the unlawful surveillance, not only surveillance but investigation into a U.S. citizen and a presidential candidate. This should be literally the biggest wave of news ever. But COVID-19 is taking the airwaves, and it's very disgusting. It is very, very disgusting. It's a level of lawlessness that boggles the mind, and that lawlessness has allowed itself to manifest in other different ways. Oh, yeah. Oh, and I forgot to say, looking for this witness against the Bidens on CNN's website, 0 results. 0 results. So I've got to go back to this whole idea. A vote in ignorance is worse than voting at all. A vote for Joe Biden. A vote for Joe Biden. In light of the information, many people, you still have till tomorrow. You want to change your vote? You can do it till tomorrow. Google, and maybe not even Google. Go to DuckDuckGo, trying to figure out how you're going to change your vote, because I'm certain that Google will probably try to remove that because they don't want Joe Biden losing in any way possible. We're about to come to a break, folks. I need the break. I need the break because the creeps are coming out at light, and we're going to talk more about that. I appreciate every last one of you in the comments. Appreciate all of you. Let's take a break. Talk to you on the flip side.
This election will be vital to the health and sustainability of our country. Our role from this day on could steer the election in either direction. Why? The way we treat one another. In John 13:35, Jesus says, "By this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." We know that every election cycle brings out the worst in us. If there was ever a point for honesty, it is in how we act during election season. As much as we would want our candidate to win, attacking a person with contrary opinions only makes them determined to reject our point of view all the more. It may come off as ignorant from them, but we cannot claim innocence if we allow arrogance and disrespect to be the means in which we communicate with those who support the other party or other candidates. Our goal was and will never be to convert voters. Our role is to give them the information needed prior to them casting their vote. It is their choice and right of what they do with that information. Understand, more people are aware of the political corruption and hypocrisy than they wish or want to admit. So there's nothing for us to prove. Choose to be people who invoke change rather than people who irritate and strain. Dale Carnegie once wrote, "A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still." In other words, give people the room to make their own mistakes. Without seeing that they were wrong, they would be blind to see what is right. Remember, every soldier present and gone have fought for the right of every American citizen to vote their own conscience. To insult and ridicule people for exercising their liberty to vote for their candidate is to also desecrate the efforts, memories, and sacrifices made by our heroes for said liberty. Please, show respect. Our nation depends on it.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio. I appreciate every last one of you who decides that you want to come to this site and start listening and hear what you have to say. Folks, listen, thank you, Jen and Lep. I'm glad you could be part of the program as well. Folks, this is a Black Friday, and this is, I talk about the creeps come out at light. Understand this. We have watched over the summer our nation be riddled with terror. So the disaster that I talked about in the first segment in Nice is just a small picture of the terror that's been going on in the United States of America. I need to get back to something. Macron said that they wanted to put an end to terror. Do you know that Macron has been saying this for the last, I don't know how many years? That Macron and previous leaders of France have continued to basically say that they are over and over defeating this idea that they want to put an end to terrorism, but they do nothing to put an end to it. And we still also have a segment of people who have decided that they are going to, we have a segment of people who continue to just wreak havoc on our landscape. And it will be a dark Friday. It will be a Black Friday if people have chosen not to speak louder or do things differently about the evil that's taking place in this country. Voting for Joe Biden is only going to make things worse. Let me do this. Let me go into one of our sponsors, because of the fact that I'm about to get a little bit deeper on this, and we need to hear what I need to say here. Cat coolers.
When the world is going to hell in a handbasket, you need rugged. You need strong. You need durable. You need cat coolers. These are the best coolers on the market in 27, 55, and 88 quart. Go to catcoolers.com and give them the code Watson to save 10% on your purchase. Don't settle for those substandard containers that melt, leak, and destroy your memorable moments. Tell them that Watson from Battle4Freedom sent you. Cat Coolers.
Yes, cat coolers, get them right now. Again, I just really believe that if you can't vote for Joe Biden, if you want to, that's your will, that's your way. But realize this, Joe Biden was slow to the roll on condemning the violence that was taking place in this country. Democrats were slow to the roll in condemning the violence that was taking place in this country. For in 2016, many of you believed that Donald Trump was going to usher in an era of chaos and racism that was going to affect this country. That the reality proves that was a lie. I never thought that Donald Trump was a racist. I never will think that he is a racist because there's no basis for that false accusation. Honestly, anyone who is hell-bent in their hearts of believing that Donald Trump is a racist indeed. Is a racist indeed. And unfortunately, the creeps come out at light. The people who want to speak in large volumes against the success of this president, the undeniable success of this president, this pandemic that is being used to come out against the success of this president. Our nation has one great decision to make. There are American citizens who have to decide whether or not they're going to want to stay in bondage, or they. And here's the thing about that's going to be really key. As the Democrats felt confident and felt overconfident in not hiding their desires for socialism and a one pay system in healthcare, as the Democrats have not held back in their obliteration of anything called peace, honor, and respect. When you sit here and you rally only Democrats rallying false accusations against Justice, then Honorable Judge Amy Coney Barrett. When you saw the war on women, and again, remember, tomorrow on OAN Network, you get a chance to hear Tara Reade, Tarreade, the victim of Vice President Joe Biden. The victim who was shut down in March so you couldn't hear anything about her. That is when, literally, you have to understand that you had so much violence, so much stuff, amp up the numbers of the coronavirus, amped up gazillion. The moment that Tara Reade comes out and she gets squashed under the news of COVID-19. Let's see, we had the riots around the world 3 days after Joe Biden said to Charlemagne that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. The Dow Jones at 29,000, I think 300 or 500. It was a ridiculously close number to breaking 30,000, and all of a sudden, 1 week later, we're looking at COVID-19. If you can't recognize how much the Democrat Party, how much liberal progressivism has sought to destroy the success of this nation, your eyes are closed and you are blind. Willfully. And that is rather unfortunate. Speaking of willfully blind, hey, did you catch this? Did you look at the nonsense that's going on right now in Philly? How many days now? Or it's like the creeps come out because they want to loot. Make no mistake. The people looting, they just have a desire to loot. Check this out. In 1 minute, check this out. This is what happens in this looters clean out. I'm going to kill the audio on this. Looters clean out an entire black-owned boutique in less than 1 minute in Philadelphia during a night of protest over the fatal police shooting of Walter Wallace Jr. So, you sit here and you look at this boutique. Does that look like a white-owned boutique, or is that a black-owned boutique? Because there are black-owned businesses. There's a message out there basically saying that there's an ignorant tweet out there saying that most black owners didn't board up their businesses because they were worried about the Proud Boys. Are you kidding me? They're worried about the Proud Boys. The Proud Boys aren't in these cities looting. The Proud Boys haven't been out there looting. And this is the level of ignorance that's being shared out there. But I'm telling you, it's even better. I've got, and I love this. Thank you, Jennifer. Jen says, a poor and broken society is a dependent society. That's exactly what Dems want. But you see, this is where it gets better in the avenue of the looting and the destruction and everything going on. Check this out. And this is really, really huge. Family of Walter Wallace Jr., who was shot dead by 2 cops in Philadelphia, say they do not want officers to face murder charges after reviewing body cam footage. And this is what the attorney reveals. They're basically saying after reviewing body cam footage of the fatal incident, the Wallace family lawyer, Shaka Johnson, said during a press conference Thursday that it was clear the officers were improperly trained and did not have the proper equipment by which to effectuate their job. So they're basically saying that, hey, they were improperly trained, but murder charges? Not necessary. So in other words, stop burning and looting down my city. Well, here's, folks, I've been on you about this for the longest time. I've been telling you, move out of the big city. Y'all keep thinking there's going to be all the success. Oh, all the great opportunities in the big city. Drive into the big city. Don't live in the big city. There's nothing good about living in the city when you know that when the Democrats are running these cities, they will not protect you. They will not protect your business. They will not protect you at all. But you know what? The likes of a Lori Lightfoot, she'll put police officers in front of her mansion to make sure that no one comes and bothers her. But, the rest of y'all, you're on your own. And you keep voting for this. You keep voting for this. They're not hiding it anymore, the level of how much they're just trying to hold you back and prevent you from protecting yourself. Penalize you if you protect yourself. Try and attack you like the St. Louis couple who protected themselves from looters, bums, who never should have been in their community in the first place. If that doesn't tell you how dark and how black things are, I don't know. But people are still looting. Because people want to loot. Looters are going to loot. Looters are going to loot. And this is very... I'm trying to figure this thing out. Y'all have already heard. I'm not even going to go through the list of what you can and cannot do. But you've heard of Governor Gavin Newsom of California. His dictates and mandates, that decided to say what people can and cannot do in terms of Thanksgiving. About how you can only have 3 families, how you can only be together for 2 hours, or you have to do all the social distancing, and you can use the bathroom, and all these restrictions. Not for health. This is for power. It is a dark, dark day when you can't see the party that's actually bucking for power. Now, does it look like the Republicans are bucking for power as they try and put more conservatives on the bench? Does it look like they're bucking for power when they want to actually have a majority in the Senate at 60 votes and you don't have to worry about this? And the likes of a Romney, Murkowski, and so many of the other different ones are no longer a threat to the nature of where our country moves. When we turn around and we have a 6-3 majority, and hopefully it'll be a 7-2 majority, or even an 8-1 majority, again, you need this. And it's not even a majority of conservatives on the Supreme Court, but people who actually revere and respect the Constitution of the United States of America. Because Democrats who say that they will stack the courts, they will pack the courts, they will put more voices on here. Do you hear the language of what they're saying? But Donald Trump is the biggest threat. And I'm sitting here thinking, they're telling you out front, they're not hiding what they're doing anymore. I don't know what to say. Not good news. You know what? They're out there. 6 FBI agents quizzing Hunter Biden's former business partner, Tony Bobulinski, for hours. They made claims the agency has an open money laundering probe. This is good as we sit here and see. And again, a face you will not see on CNN. A face you will not see on CNN is a person who has decided to actually speak up and say, I will tolerate this no more. See, and I wanted to talk about this yesterday, and I completely forgot about it because Andrew and I got carried away. We had so much fun last night, and I got carried away yesterday even. I wasn't going to talk about it last night. I was going to talk this yesterday morning. But here is a face. Here is someone where you remember you had evidence. This person spoke before the debate. Part of the reason why Joe Biden was flustered. And make no mistake, Joe Biden lost it last week because he was aware of what was going on. He was nervous. Joe Biden was pooping his pants because of the fact that he recognizes the jig is up. We know what you did. Here's witness testimony. And if Bobulinski dies before the end of the year, you know it was a hit. When you had, and CNN's not covering this. None of the major networks are covering this because of the fact that and even Twitter, well, you can't post this stuff because you didn't get permission to post this stuff. The lengths that Twitter is going, and see, I'm going to tell you something. I'm thinking there might be allegations, or there might be proof that on not only and tied in with this in the level of the corruption with the Bidens and some. Is it possible we may see some social media giant CEOs, their names attached closely to Ukrainian money, Russian money, Chinese money? Is it possible that we may start seeing stuff like this? Is this the reason why the news agencies are doing everything that they can to squash the story of Joe Biden's laptop? Is that we're going to find not just pictures of Joe Biden and Hunter Biden with children and everything like that? That further goes on the idea of the pedophilia we've been talking about for the longest time. Again, it marvels my mind that people aren't up in arms of how much we are. They don't care anymore about killing children in the womb. But now we have the children out of the womb, and these children are being saved from the sex trafficking and human trafficking and everything like that. And and people are utterly silent because Orange Man bad is what matters most. This is truly a Black Friday. This is truly a dark day in America when people who are virtual signaling about systemic racism and all these other different things are utterly silent. I'm not seeing emails from corporate and corporate companies that are sitting there denouncing human trafficking. Which goes to say, is there a possibility that there's more and more information that is showing a lot of these businesses, these creeps who come out during the day, that their hands are in it, that their hands have been a part of this disaster that has been laying waste to the conscience of America? But you're getting more information. Tucker Carlson? Fox had sent incriminating evidence from the New York store New York location to go to California. That information had disappeared, but Andrew Coppins had told me that information was later found. The USB drive was found on the floor. How convenient. How convenient. They are doing everything that they can to block this information, and y'all are still going to vote for Y'all are still going to vote for Joe Biden. Y'all still going to vote against. You can't hide the level of corruption that's happening right now. Orange Man bad. We got to find something. Donald Trump's taxes. Oh, another woman said that he sexually assaulted her. You are doing mental, physical, spiritual gymnastics to ignore the ever-present evil right in front of your face. When you sit here, many of you go sit on your panels talking about the plight of black people. Go sit on your panels talking about how dangerous it is to be black in America today. As you sit here and you remain silent. You remain silent to this apparent evil. You sitting here and not believing what's happening right now with Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and the evil wickedness and the machinations of the sex trafficking and Jeffrey Epstein and all the different people who are going to be posted and caught on this stuff. Y'all want to sit here talking about the constitutionality of information needed to be protected when Snowden decided to start hacking servers. You don't want to remain quiet when you actually have witnesses last year who overheard a conversation with Donald Trump that was alluding to quid pro quo, and then hiding the freaking witness. That we didn't want the witness to be exposed and everything like that. And many of you went and you died on that hill that Donald Trump was guilty of to be impeached. of quid pro quo. You didn't even see the witness and you believed it. Now we have the witnesses, we have the information, and they won't let you see it. This is a dark day in America. This is a dark day. This is the reason why. Forget about it. I'm not waiting until after. I'm not waiting until after Election Day. I voted for Donald Trump. Boom. I voted for Donald Trump. Period. Hate me all you want. Attack my Christian faith all you want. When you sit here and you remain completely quiet, when you sit completely quiet about this apparent evil that you can't, because of the fact that I couldn't stay silent. I couldn't stay silent as I sit here watching this evil overtake our country, overtake the media. Yes, I voted for Donald Trump. How you like me now? I didn't do it in 2016, but 2020, President Donald J. Trump got my vote. I sat there and I watched him attack him over and over. The malevolence, it was like watching a grinder, watching a food grater go against my skin because of the fact that I couldn't feel peace, remaining silent about what was happening. The apparent bias by the media, the apparent bias and hypocrisy by people on the left, black Christians, white Christians who are calling themselves liberals and Democrats, and they sit there feeling that they are vindicated every time the news comes out with something negative about Donald Trump, but they are utterly silent when something comes out about Joe Biden, about Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi going off and getting her hair cut, not wearing a mask, not Dianne Feinstein, and packing the courts, and all these different things. And now this overwhelming weight of Russian collusion, of quid pro quo in Ukraine, and Chinese money from Joe Biden, who said in the first debate, there's been no one more tougher on China than me. You are a compromised fool and tool for the Chinese government. They had information on your son that was being used. There's more data to support this right now. Vote Donald Trump. Vote Donald Trump. You can vote whatever way you want to, but understand this. You vote anything contrary to Donald Trump for presidency of the United States of America, you are voting for your own condemnation. I was holding off till next week to share that because I didn't want to say what I was going to do, but I'm ticked. I am ticked. Let's go voting for Donald Trump. Lil Wayne decides he has a great meeting, says he has a great meeting with Donald Trump and praises his criminal justice reforms and platinum plan for black Americans. Lil Wayne decides to come out and start to sit here talking about, besides what he's done for criminal reform, the platinum plan is going to give the community real ownership. He listened to what we had to say today and assured he will get it done. Lil Wayne. So another person comes out and decides that he's going to say something. Another person decides he's going to speak up, and say, Donald Trump gets my vote. You can't argue with the facts. But you know what? Who is arguing with the facts? Because of the fact that 50 Cent slams him for posing with the president. Now, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. I need to, let me do another commercial because I need to look up something. Oh my goodness. How do I do this? Because forget about it. Okay. Here you go. It was a tale of two fitties. A tale of two fitties. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. I want you to watch this dynamic. A week ago, 50 Cent was sitting there supporting Donald Trump. He was happy. He joined Ice Cube and many more. Lil Pump, 50 Cent, Ice Cube, talking about, now Lil Wayne, talking about the success of what Donald Trump has done to help the black community, that which the media refuses to talk about. And then, all of a sudden, last week, Chelsea Handler has to remind 50 Cent that he's black. I'm going to come back to this image in a second here. Chelsea Handler came back and had to remind 50 Cent that he was black. And in the process of this doing here, understand, I'm going to tell you what happens. That code message, hey, I need to remind you, you Black Lives Matter. Understand this. It's not Black Lives Matter. It's blackmail. And I'm not talking about the black male. I'm talking about blackmail. Chelsea Handler has information on 50 Cent. She has information on 50 Cent that she threatened him to remain silent and start attacking the president. Okay? Understand this. You just watch a liberal white woman shut a black man down. Folks, what more information do you need to recognize when you sit here and I tell you about the movie Uncle Tom? When you sit here and you need, again, go get the Uncle Tom movie. Not only that, when I sit here and I tell you that you need to get American history in black and white. As you see the threats from the Democrat Party that has existed since the beginning of time for blacks in this country. And even after their security was secured, after their victory, after their liberation in the first civil rights movement, which in turn became a civil war, and we lost almost 1 million lives fighting to set black people free. Make no mistake, there were hoses in the 50s and 60s in the 20th century, but nothing compared to the carnage and lives lost to secure their freedom. But again, we can't talk about that because I have a dream is a lot louder than the musket fire and the cannons and the blood of men and women who died on the battlefield to secure the liberties of black people. See, the thing about it is interesting. They're taking down these statues, folks, because of the fact that these statues remind them that more lives are lost in the 1900s or in the 19th century than were lost in the 20th century because of racism. Many more lives were lost in the 19th century. They're hiding the history. They're trying to bury the history. See, many archaeologists actually look and dig up the history, and what the Democrat Party and progressives have done is reverse archaeology. They're covering up history because of the fact that as long as people don't know, as long as people aren't aware of the true reality, the true face of racism, the true face of hatred and oppression that comes from the Democrat Party, then they will continue to vote for us without any hindrance. You should be ashamed if you keep continue to vote for Joe Biden. Chelsea Handler has something. Chelsea Handler has something. So much so that when Lil Wayne decides to take a picture with Donald Trump, guess who comes out against Lil Wayne? 50 Cent. 50 Cent. A tale of two 50s. I'm going to make it clear. And it's not even going to be one page. It's going to be one sentence. 50 Cent changed his story because Chelsea Handler has something against him. And there is a tale of two 50s. He has been blackmailed into his silence. And many of you, if you want to see the threats against a black man, just look at Hollywood and look at the Democrat Party. Plain and simple. There's no way around it. And it's sad and it's pathetic. Attitude of gratitude. I'd like to end the show off on a positive note. And you remember, send me your message, send your story to me to b4faog@gmail.com because of the fact that I love sharing your stories. I love sharing your stories. For me, my attitude of gratitude today is President Donald J. Trump, who I hope will be, once again, President Donald J. Trump. My family has been able to pay off debts, get so much accomplished under this administration, to feverishly make the sacrifices that we needed to do. We did previously before because we started changing the way that we live. And I believe that many of you can do the same exact thing as well. I left my MAGA hat in the other room, and honestly, I don't know how much it would be easy for me to take that off, being that I love wearing this hat. My attitude of gratitude is for Donald J. Trump, and I'm praying that many of you will vote for him if you haven't voted already. If you're undecided, vote Donald J. Trump, please. Because America can't afford a Joe Biden. America cannot afford a Joe Biden. It just doesn't work. Brad Staggs and Daily Mojo's up next. And I pray that you guys enjoy them. Because he is one sick person when I hear him say the following. Watson!
Sleepless nights.
He's out. Talk to you. Take care. And God bless.